Hi, I'm James Jessup, the Sales and Marketing Director for PCS Thailand. Welcome back to our Thought Leadership series for 2022. Today we're going to have the spotlight on smart cities. Today my next guest is İbrahim Kocagöz. İbrahim, the Solutions Director Engineering for PCS Thailand. Smart cities is your middle name, is that correct?
Thank you very much, James Jessup. Correct.
Now tell me, why smart? What makes a smart city smart?
Smart comes from very popular name. Everybody started using smart. Smartphones, smart buildings, smart apartments, smart village, smart cities.
Yeah.
It's a name, of course, everybody is using. But why smart? How smart is a question mark, definitely. And of course, it depends. From person to person, the smartness, and from city to city is changing. But how we can define, of course, if the city is easy to live, brings you livable cities, and brings you comfort, easy to access to the all what you need, then we can call it smart, definitely. But again, it is from person to person, cities to cities. From building to building is changing. Smart, yeah. So, but there are now institutes and authorities that they can confirm how smart it is. Yeah.
Well, that was going to be one of my next questions, was who ultimately certifies smartness, if that's such a word?
Very good question.
Yeah.
So there are institutes, organizations that cities are applying and buildings are applying for getting certification, because now you are promoting your city or building or apartment as a smart city. Of course, then the customer can ask you such kind of questions. How smart? Why you call it smart? Where is your certification? And then it's a good question. It's for sustainability. There are institutes that are available and certifications are available for smart city also. There are, and yeah, actually this is not very well known with the people, but there are. So you can apply, but of course apply for different categories, or you can apply for traffic, or mobilization, or mobility, or infrastructure. So there are different categories that you can apply for certification and scoring. So then you can show to the customer, you see my certification or scores for the smart city. Yeah.
Okay. And what are some of the levels? Like how do you measure smartness?
Okay, very good question. This is, for example, I want to give an example from the apartments. So it's a very good example, because usually in order to do marketing, promoting the apartments, the landlord, owner is promoting, oh, this is a smart apartment, come and pay this much of money. And usually when you go into the apartment, you just switch on the light and then turn off the light from another switch over there. And you say, you see how smart it is. Of course, this is, since maybe 25 years, 30 years available. So you should really bring something new to the people, but easy to access. When you go a whole day high-end hotel, you can see quite smart room in the hotel, smart room really for the guest. But unfortunately, you cannot know how to open the curtain, how to open the TV. It's too complicated. It takes maybe 2 days to understand how to. This is not also smart. Okay, there are lots of technologies they are using, and if this is what we are saying, it must be people friendly. This is, then we call it really smart and commercially also viable. You can put the most expensive things, etc. Then it will never happen.
So what are the benefits of smart operations or smart engineering, and where is it applicable?
Very good question.
Thank you. I'm good at asking good questions.
Are amazing.
That's what I do.
Yeah. So, for example, a city, and there was a water leakage on the pipeline, and you send your technician to the site. In the old times, because I'm saying old times now, many of the cities, many of the operation engineering companies, they are service companies are implementing the technologies. When I call it technology, it's not only the product, it can be a software, many other things now at the moment available. So usually they were going to the site, they were trying to dig one by one, where is the leakage, etc. But now there is a building information management system, so you can upload all this infrastructure information to that, and there are sensors that they can measure and detect the leak, where is the location of the exact leakage, and your technician can take the tablet, can go to the point, find the exact leakage point. So what is the benefit? Of course, you don't need to dig everywhere. Time, money, and also citizens. I mean, you dig all the roads and then it will disturb the people's life. They will say, what is such a kind of engineering?
Not so smart after all.
It is not, they will.
So you have answered this question a little bit, but I just want to dig a little bit deeper, get a little bit more insight from maybe, if that's okay. So what are the tools that make engineering services smart?
First of all, of course, the latest technology. You need to evaluate. You cannot implement every single technology. Oh, this is a technology I need to implement. This is an IoT, or this is a sensor. I need to put it there. No, it's really. I mean, you need to use the sensor. I mean, you need to look from the process perspective. What are you doing during your daily operation? You send your technician to the site, check something else. Can you do it remotely? This is very important. So if it can be a sensor, or it can be a camera. There are cameras are also replacing our sensors. And how reliable are they? Okay, but this is, you can compare how reliable is your technician. Is he showing up tomorrow? Or, because this is the usually resistance that we are receiving from the teams. They are saying, oh, technology is not replacing 100% people, but it is increasing the efficiency. So it can be sensors, it can be cameras. Depends on the, of course, I mean, situation or the subject. You cannot have one thing. It has to apply.
You have to understand the customers. You have to understand what's important to them, what their needs are, the pain points, and actually what creates value back to them. So if you think about the common areas, if you go back to a smart city, right, or if you think about sustainability, what are some of the common areas of smart city in that environment?
This is also a very common question our people are asking. I mean, sustainability, smart city, and mixing. No, it's actually two different topics. There might be a sustainable building or sustainable city without using technologies or etc. Because you can create a building because sustainability has got different terms. It's, I mean, the product, concrete, what you are using in the building, has to be manufactured as much as closer to the area. You should avoid as much as possible transportation, such kind of things. Of course, it's integrated, but it's not a must. I mean, if you want to create a sustainable environment in a village, it can be also. It can be, you can use renewable energy, zero waste. This is very important. So basically, when we call sustainable smart, it's not the exactly same thing, but there are things that you are using for sustainability from the smart city pillars. That's very important. And usually when people are calling their city smart, and they are calling sustainable also, it's like another marketing tool. But it's not a must.
I know about that.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of great stuff there. It sounds amazing. But what are some of the challenges in really bringing the smart city to life? Because that's really where the rubber hits the road, right? That's where the real value is made.
Absolutely right. There are many challenges, first of all, because everybody is talking smart city, sustainable city, but when you come to the implementation part, you finding there is nothing, zero. But on the presentations there are. So what are the challenges? Of course, cost, because they are not calculating what is the actual cost. Okay, this is one of the things. Because they don't know how much will it cost. They call it, I want to have a smart city, etc. And there is no business model, business case. And they are not allowing investors to invest. So that's why they don't create a right business model. They don't have a right team also to advise, or right team or right consultant. There are advisors, they are advising to the client who wants to implement a smart city, but at the end they are getting nothing because the consultant is coming to them or their team with a big cost, and there is no business model, there is no business, very, very high level. So it never comes true unless like municipalities or governments, they invest. So it doesn't come true. So the main thing is about the business model, business cases, and strategy. They don't have a clear strategy also, I mean. So these are the challenges.
Fundamentals.
Fundamentals.
So I hear a lot about having integrated systems when it comes to smart cities. And so what does that really mean, and is it really needed?
Very good. Another question. So there is a tunnel, for example, road tunnel. So people are asking, really, why because normally nobody wants to integrate their system to another system. Everybody wants to hold the system, hold their command center. They want to have a separate system because I think it's coming from the human. They want to hold the control. But when you drive to a road tunnel, especially, is a very good example that I'm giving always. There are fire alarm system, fire monitoring, and there's a ventilation system, and there's a dynamic message signs. For example, if all these systems, they don't communicate to each other, if there's an accident, first of all, there is no detection system. So there is an accident will happen, there is a fire happen, but the other drivers will never know what's happening.
Yeah.
And plus, once there's a smoke, carbon monoxide started coming from the cars who had the accident, the the ventilation system will not start automatically.
Yeah.
So everything has to be manually. And when there's a human interface, there are more errors, of course.
Yeah.
But when you have a fully automated and integrated one, ventilation will start automatically, and all the information coded dynamics, measured science automatically. Then drivers will stop; they will not enter.
Yeah. So great example, Ibi. Are there any other use cases that you think would be worth sharing with our audience? They love great examples. So any other ones that would help bring what a smart city really means and how we can get the most value out of it?
Yes, exactly. Especially when people are driving, especially in Bangkok also, is we commonly see still for the landscaping, for irrigation, there are cars, big trucks, they are watering to the trees, etc. And even it will rain next day, they are doing. And also you can see on the grass, it's raining at the same time, the irrigation system, the watering system is working. However, if you integrate with the weather monitoring stations, you will know, and also you can put some sensors, 2-3 systems integrated, you will save from the water, save from the money, plus you will not disturb the citizen's life.
So how can you, some of our customers, governments even, will have a vision, right, of this smart city. What needs to be done to really make a smart city successful?
Regulations are important. Government has to enforce to the people. This is very important because if you leave to the citizens, of course everybody wants, but there must be regulation and certain requirements. If there is a new building or new city is under construction or under design, government has to say, okay, the company you are designing a city, it has to be like that. You should meet with these certain requirements. Maybe if you are not able to force these cities or buildings, it's buildings for cities, same thing, you can encourage them. How? For example, the building, if they go sustainable smart, you can tell them, okay, there was a certain limitation for building 20 floor, but you can build another 2 floor also. Or you can give them discount from the utilities that you are providing, like government or taxes, etc. So the government is taking a critical role for smart cities, for renewable energy also, actually, same thing. So it has to be really regulated from the government.
Okay. Now, Ibi, you know the question I'm about to ask you. On this Thought Leadership series, we have the question. Are you ready for the question?
I'm excited.
This is about the crystal ball, so I'll pass you the virtual crystal ball. I'd like you to look into it, Ibi, and tell me what you see when it comes to smart cities, but smart cities in Thailand. What can you see?
Smart cities in Thailand. Since I arrived to Thailand 4 years, everybody's talking about smart cities.
Yes.
Now that DIPA, there's an agency, they are developing some regulations, etc. It's slow, of course, because everybody's talking on the presentations, but Thailand is lucky. It's surrounded with many countries who are developing the technology a lot. So Thailand cannot stay behind of the technology at all. But we can call it as a big transition period. It's a transition period for Thailand. Individuals they are using in their home, in their cars. Situation is about on the infrastructure. They will see it. So they will see in the Korea, etc. It's on the transition period. It will take time. But
what does the crystal ball say? Is it 5 years, 10 years?
10 years.
6 months?
10 years, 10 years.
10 years.
I see numbers 10, 10, 10.
1 0, 1 0.
1 0,
Okay. Thank you so much, Ibi. That's all we've got time for today, but thank you very much for your insights into what a smart city is. So that brings us to the end of our Thought Leadership session for today. Thank you for watching and look forward to seeing you soon. Stay safe. I'm James Jessup. Goodbye.